Lake of Bays Chamber of Commerce Annual General Meeting. For those who don't know me, I'm Scott Acton. I've been honored to chair the board here for the last 2 years. So it's just over a year ago we gathered, when we used to be able to gather, at Canvas Brewery. And we were a couple of weeks into the new year. 2020 was shaping up to be a good one. At that time, I spoke about the goal of embarking on a new strategic plan for the Chamber. We were just a couple of weeks away from what would become a very successful Snowfest event in downtown Huntsville. Things were going well, and of course, we know what happened after that. But despite the challenges 2020 brought us, you have stepped up, pivoting your business to do curbside, new ideas, new strategies, all the while, and perhaps most importantly, ensuring the safety of your clients. This is an incredible business community. I'm proud of the work the team here at the Chamber has done over the last year. Kelly, Torrin, Barb, Bill, and Danielle really are the best in the business. Kelly will speak to the Chamber strategies this past year, and we'll look forward to 21 in just a couple of minutes. The board, very lucky to work with this group. They are Sue Burke, Jerry Feltus, Jeff Suddaby, Doug Campbell, Colleen Mitchell, Wendy Turner, and David Perlock. And of course, our municipal reps from the town of Huntsville, Jonathan Wiebe, and from Lake of Bays, Michael Papard. So thank you all. Now, before we get started, I'd like to welcome and thank our MP for Parry Sound Muskoka, Scott Aitchison, for joining us and bringing greetings from the federal government. I'd also like to thank and welcome Mayor Karen Terziano and CAO Denise Corey from the town of Huntsville for joining us as well. Thanks to each and every one of you for taking the time to be here with us this evening. I do look forward to when we can do this in person again. And of course, you can reach out to me at any time. We have lots of information coming tonight. Thank you for your support of the Chamber and best wishes for a better 2021. I'll now hand it over to our Executive Director, Kelly Haywood, go over some procedures for this evening's voting. Kelly.
Thank you, Scott. So a little different this year, obviously, in terms of voting, I want to remind everyone, if you're not sure if you are eligible to vote, please check with Barb in the chat. We welcome everyone and anyone to join us at this AGM, but only one vote per member. So please, if you don't know if you are able to vote, ask Barb. If you are not a voting member, please do not raise your hand during the motions or the seconders or for the all in favors. We also have just sent an email to all eligible voters using an email constant contact for the election of the board. This has been set up as a survey and allows only the registered voters to vote. Please submit your vote now or anytime, and the election results will be revealed in agenda number 5 after my presentation, and we'll then do a motion to accept the new board. So if you have any questions about this process, again, please, you can send me a chat directly through the chat feature in the bottom of your screen. So again, look for that email. Let Barb or I or Torrin know if you haven't received the email. If you don't have it, literally just went out at 5:30 and there was a bit of a delay, I think, for it. So you'll be voting for 3 of the 5. There's 3 positions available and 5 nominees. Otherwise, I think that's it for procedure. When the motion is called, raise your hand. And if you could hold it there just for a minute, Scott will sort of scroll through the screen and select a motioner and a seconder, and then all in favor, hold your hand up, just so we can make sure that there's a majority. I think that's everything from me, unless Barbara, Scott, you think I've forgotten anything? Or if anyone has any questions about procedure, please enter it into the chat and we'll do our best to get back to you. I'm just going to mute everyone as well, so that we don't have any background noise, except for you, Mr. President. Sorry. If you can unmute yourself, that'd be good. All right.
Great, thanks, Kelly. And to that point, with the agenda, I would like to move the election portion to down after Kelly's report. So with that, I do need a motion to accept the agenda as presented. Can I get a motioner? Jeff Suddaby and Colleen Mitchell. Any discussion? All in favor. Thank you. Okay. I need a motion to accept the 2020 minutes of the annual general meeting as presented. Motioner? Helena Renwick. Seconder, Sue Burke. All in favor? Thank you. At this point, I'd like to welcome our MP for Parry Sound Muskoka, Scott Aitchison. Scott.
Thank you, President Acton. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to everybody. A lot of familiar faces. I'm actually in Ottawa right now in my office here, and it's great to be with you. It's nice to see my immediate predecessor, the Honorable Tony Clement, who is an old pro at this kind of stuff. I unfortunately am not able to stay for the entire meeting. I'm watching my other computer because I have to join a debate in the House of Commons on a private member's bill that would ban exporting plastic waste to developing countries. At any rate, and I'm arguing in favor of that. So just so you're aware. I did want to just briefly highlight a couple of the key files that myself and my office are working on right now. And of course, probably one of the most obvious ones is, of course, the rural internet access issue. The federal government has announced another program and more money for their rural broadband fund, about $1.75 billion. It's been my experience that they're good at announcing things, but not always very good at delivering. And so I'm very eager, obviously, to make sure that some of that money gets spent in rural Muskoka and rural Parry Sound. And so we've been working pretty diligently on that file and helping some of the local providers, like Lakeland is one example that, is they've made a number of submissions to that program to actually truly, accomplish the goals of the program, which is to actually provide, better internet service to truly rural folks in our area. So we're working alongside some of those companies to make sure that we are actually truly capturing as many folks in the rural area as possible. And of course, COVID, like, so many other issues, has made it, even more apparent that, access to reliable and affordable internet is really crucial, not just for business, but also for families and people working from home too. So that's a big one. We're spending a lot of time on that. I spent a lot of time too working on behalf of summer camps. They have been a sector of the economy that's been somewhat overlooked, but I think we're having some success through the various regional economic development agencies. So, of course, in our circumstance, that's FedNor, which, of course, Tony is quite familiar with. He used to run that department. So summer camps are getting some support finally for, they were in a circumstance, of course, where they couldn't open at all. And so what I didn't realize, of course, is that there are over 400 summer camps across Canada. I think on a per capita basis, we have more in Parry Sound Muskoka than anywhere else, but they're a major economic driver in our community, and so many businesses were able to open a little bit this past summer, and of course, summer camps were not able to open at all. And well over half of those summer camps are not-for-profits and charitable organizations, and they don't have, huge endowment funds, and so a lot of them were struggling. So we focused a lot of energy on them and continue to help them with their applications through FedNor to get some kind of support. And of course, the other file that's really important to me, and one of the reasons I decided to run, is housing. The housing situation in our area, it's getting worse. The cost of housing is getting higher. Wages are not certainly going up as dramatically as the cost of housing. And so I've been working a little bit with some of the Liberal folks that created the program that exists right now to find ways to make sure that some of the money goes to rural communities like ours, because of course we see all too often, I can count the number of announcements that the Liberals make in Toronto or Ottawa or Montreal or Vancouver, and I'm constantly reminding these folks that there are housing challenges, a crisis actually, in a lot of rural communities as well. And so that's another file that I'm spending a lot of time very focused on and working on. So I just wanted to give you a quick highlight of those issues, just to let you know that those are the ones that I've been working a lot on, along with support programs for some tourism specific type industries as well. Of course, that's really important in our area too. So I wanted to be very brief, just so that if there were questions for me, I could answer them. I do have to leave in about 3 or 4 minutes. maybe 5 or 6 minutes, but and I will come back following my intervention in the House of Commons in case there are questions in the chat. So I'll leave it at that for now. Good to see you all, and I hope you have a few questions.
Any questions for Scott if you want to jump them in the chat?
Well, or you could do that throughout the meeting, and we'll collect them afterwards too, if you'd prefer to jump off now, Scott, so you can get yourself organized.
Looks like you're getting off easy.
Oh, you're on mute there.
I love questions, and I hopefully as the meeting goes on, you'll come up with some real doozies that stump me. But I'll go do this, and then I'll come back in a bit.
Thanks.
Thanks, Scott.
Thanks, everyone.
Okay, Kelly, I will turn it over to you for your report.
All right. Give me a second so I can share my screen, please. It's rather slow for me as well. I'm just waiting for it to go large. There, can you see that? Is that working? Good. Okay. All right. All right. So thank you. I'd like to thank our board first and foremost. It's been a crazy year for everyone. Of course, our president, Scott Acton, our treasurer and first vice president, Jerry Feltus. Sue Burke is our second vice president, and Doug Campbell is our secretary, Jeff Sotheby, Colleen Mitchell, David Perlock, Wendy Turner, and then Michael Peppard is our appointed rep from the Township of Lake of Bays, and Councillor Jonathan Weeb from the town of Huntsville. Our mission statement, I always like to review with our members to remind everyone of our existence. So the Huntsville Lake of Bays Chamber of Commerce is a membership-driven business organization whose mission is to support the economic and social growth of our members through networking, public awareness, and community promotion. So we started 2020 eager to represent our membership and to implement new marketing strategies along with website updates. We were preparing to host the Maple Festival and Flavors of Ontario events and had some exciting new initiatives in the works. However, in a couple of months, everything changed. COVID-19 quickly made it clear that we would have to rethink our strategy as an organization. We started with education, sending daily updates Monday to Friday with curated list of important information designed to keep our membership informed. Then we moved to advocacy, vocally supporting our struggling small businesses and tourism operators at the municipal, provincial, and federal level. Next, we shifted our priorities. We advocated and helped to provide PPE for struggling businesses with the support of the town of Huntsville. Working with partners, including the town of Huntsville and the Huntsville Municipal Accommodation Tax Association, we created a recovery program that would drive revenue. When the second wave worsened into the winter, we again pivoted to try to provide winter outdoor recreation opportunities, including the creation of the Winter Adventure Park, 2.5 kilometers of groomed trails for Nordic skiing, fat biking, and snowshoeing. I'll talk about that more later. At the dawn of 2021, so many things are still uncertain. Rest assured, however, that as your voice, the Chamber will continue to advocate for you, continue to create programs to help you get back on your feet, and continue to help keep you informed of key information and supports as they become available. As we all stand together, we'll work together, we will get through this pandemic, and our community will continue to thrive. So, why it's taking so long for my slides to change. All right, so community marketing. The mission here is also obviously to support economic growth, increase visitation, visitor expenditures through the promotion of our areas with a priority focus still on shoulder season activities which have a low environmental impact. We do obviously believe that if we don't promote our areas externally, we won't be top of mind in a very competitive tourism market, and how important it is to effectively promote our community as a tourism destination within Muskoka, not only to draw thousands of additional visitors, but also to create more investment and relocation, which has a direct effect on our tax base and ultimately every business and resident. While the COVID-19 pandemic brought a major change to our tourism and marketing events, and we've changed a great deal of our plans, we've worked very closely with agencies like Muskoka Tourism, RTO 12, all of the Muskoka Chambers of Commerce, our municipalities, and the team has been extraordinary. We are working very hard to properly assess and determine appropriate timelines to begin external marketing again. Obviously, watching, the lockdown and when it'll be safe to do so. We have, of course, spent a great deal of, we pivoted basically. I know that is an overused word these days, but to use the opportunity of the time to focus on the reopening and what that would look like. And we developed a number of excellent grant opportunities, and I'll talk about that more as well. So I do believe that we are positioned very well. We have an excellent opportunity being, an outdoor playground. We've had the opportunity to work with the Accommodation Tax Association to do some excellent surveys, which I'll also talk about a little bit more. We'll be ready to go. So in terms of our online presence, we continue to host 3 websites, the HuntsvilleAdventure.com, our Maple website, as well as Girlfriend's Getaway Weekend. HuntsvilleAdventures.com is populated with excellent and engaging content. I highly recommend that you take a look at it. We'd love your feedback. We'd always are interested in content. If you have ideas for stories in any capacity. And there's also a great opportunity for each business to enhance their listing. And the more content that's relevant to your business, the better it is for SEO for us and for you. We're continuously improving accessibility and readability. And then we did spend a great deal of energy and resources on search engine optimization tactics to ensure increased website rankings. Currently, we have a very heavy focus, and we will continue to do so for SEO. And we've improved our website ranking a great deal in the past year. So what we've done, we've created 24 digital content marketing campaigns. Again, I'd love everyone's feedback on that, so please take a look. Campaigns focused on things like what to do, where to stay, where to dine, business features, as well as event features. We've targeted social media and email marketing campaigns. Of course, we had to put a number of these on hold during COVID-19, but we're preparing a great deal of content so that we're ready. And we did shift to include a great deal of local day trips, local marketing push as well. We've partnered with RTO 12 to create the Cottage Country Spirit marketing campaign. And we have developed new content as well, specifically for reopening, things like golf, patios, that sort of thing. And in the meantime, we're also building our database of photography and video. So some exciting upcoming plans that we have when it's safe to do so. And I'll reiterate that over and over, that we want to, any marketing we're talking about is all going to be when our board and when the Accommodation Tax Board Association, as well as both municipalities, feel it's safe for us to begin welcoming tourists back to our community. Winter Adventure Your Way is one. So this is a collaborative marketing campaign with the town of Huntsville and the Accommodation Tax Association and the BIA. And this is going to be focused with an increased awareness of Huntsville as a winter destination with outdoor cultural dining options, activities, with a goal of increasing overnight stays. So that will include a great deal of content marketing, Facebook, Instagram. There'll be investment in Google Search, Google Display Network, YouTube. And then there'll be some very specific curated content that will be partnering with groups like BlogTO and Kloop. Then there'll be the spring voucher program that we will partner with the RTO 12 and I'm going to just call them the MAT board. So that's the Accommodation Tax Board. So the goal here will be a voucher and content marketing campaign. This is all strategy at this point, content marketing to entice visitors as well. These details are to be determined. And then we have put forward a grant request to FedNor for close to $200,000 for a digital marketing campaign as well. And that is currently pending, but we feel very confident about it. In 2020, we had the Dwight Winter Carnival celebrated their 50th anniversary, which was super exciting. We had many visitors. It was a very, very popular event. We're very sad that that's not going to be taking place this year. That's first time ever. Snowfest saw the return of a snow-covered Main Street, as you can see in the picture. We had over 1,000 visitors enjoying Nordic skiing, alpine skiing, snowboarding, and snowshoeing. And we really hope that we can have this event again. We have lots of great ideas to make this event bigger and bigger. It also included things like skating, axe throwing, wildlife exhibits, dog sledding, carnival games, snow yoga. I could go on. And we had even a pub crawl by horse and sleigh ride with our participating downtown restaurants. And then, of course, Girlfriend's Getaway Weekend happened a very scaled back version, but we wanted to keep some facsimile of it going. And that was very much a quiet in-room event, but it was, it kept people engaged. So look, moving forward, we're looking at unique ways to host these events. Maple Festival Committee is meeting very soon, and we may see something come from that, and stay tuned for that. In terms of product development, and this particular initiative, I'm very proud to be partnering with the Accommodation Tax Board, as well as the town of Huntsville and the BIA. This we really had hoped to have launched by now, but it looks like we'll be doing this, in the fall of next year, unfortunately. And of course, a huge thanks goes to the Festival of the Arts. Dan Watson and his team have been amazing partners in this as well. So because, large one-time gatherings can't take place, we are constantly trying to find ways where we can create unique activities. So the lighting initiative would be one where we had partnered with the town to utilize the Muskoka Heritage Place in Pioneer Village, where thousands of lights would, be curated in a path that would be something that you can't begin to imagine how much has gone into this, as well as downtown. So this particular piece at Muskoka Heritage Place is called Walk with Light. Then there was going to be, Snow Village downtown, and we were able to develop the Grandview Trails. So if you're not aware of these, and socially distanced and all, at Grandview, we do have 2.5 kilometers of groomed Nordic ski trails, as well as groomed fat biking trails. It's lit dimly, but we're working on that. And you know, it's an excellent space to snowshoe as well. And that has been an excellent partnership with Claude Dowdy, who owns the property. Club Link has worked with us as well to ensure that we're not damaging anything underneath the snow. But do check it out. It's free. It's use at your own risk, and it's an excellent opportunity to you know, exercise, get outside. So this is another sort of example of what you can expect to see at the Muskoka Heritage Place light. It's a easy to navigate trail of illuminated markers that will lead you on a unique experience. There's also a great deal of audio, and it's interactive. So we're very excited about this, and you know, a downtown canopy of lights we're hoping to do. So next winter we'll be well poised to have that organized. Here's a nice shot of the Huntsville Adventure Park. I think that's Bill Farnsworth, our very own Bill Farnsworth, riding his fat bike on the trail. So it's a great opportunity. And then Snow Village, this is going to be downtown. This is also developed by the Festival of the Arts. This piece will be presented by them with, you know, interactive snow activities, ice sculptures, snow forts, snow maze. So we're going to be well positioned for next winter, and I do very much believe that we'll need it. So the grants that I've referred to a number of times, we were approved, of course, for 2020 in a couple of instances, and you'll notice, so red is the Rural Economic Development Committee through the Ministry of Agriculture, and then Reconnect Festival and Events is $290,300 that we received for this particular winter initiative that I was referring to, and that grant would not have been possible without the very generous contribution from the Accommodation Tax Association Board of Directors, and they gave $300,000 towards the program. So it's a big spend, it's a big initiative, and it's very exciting, and something that we will own also forever, which is a great legacy. As I mentioned, FedNor, we have $191,500 outstanding, and we're beyond our phase 2 application, and feeling very confident about that contribution. And then we have applications in the works for Tourism Development Fund, Ontario Trillium, and then if Celebrate Ontario is released again, we'll most definitely be applying for that as well. In terms of promotional tools, I mean, I mentioned, you know, our website is where we're obviously investing the majority of our resources, as well as our social media. We did in 2020 partner with all of the chambers in Muskoka, as well as Muskoka Tourism, of course, leading to do the visitor guide, which we'll be taking. We actually have taken a hiatus this year. We're looking at doing a different type of lure piece just for this year, but stay tuned on that. And then of course our tear off map, which Barb will be launching any day now for next year, is surprisingly one of the most popular pieces ever. We always run out of them. I'd love to print more than 19,000 copies of them because we could use it, but it's very much dependent on the advertisers. And I find a lot of our businesses still seem to think that most people are using only online maps. And I can assure you they're not. We have these at the liquor store. We have them all over town. And you could speak to any accommodator. It's the first thing that every one wants when they check into a hotel or a motel. So that we will continue to print for sure. Our email program, you know, I'm guessing you all get our emails because you're here today, and thank you for that. If you don't get them regularly, or if you have feedback for that, please let me know. We'd really like, we try very hard to keep the subject line succinct and clear so that you can just scan it and decide if you want to open it. We sent 247 emails to our members, over 600 people on that list. So a great opportunity for member-to-member marketing as well. In terms of, you know, tourism services, this is also still a very, very popular piece, we have an excellent relationship with the town of Huntsville. We're located in Town Hall. Our visitors, this year increased 21%. We also host a booth generously provided by Three Guys and a Stove. That's very, mostly help yourself, but in the summer we have someone in there. And then we help to fill the Kent Park visitor space, which also is help yourself, and we'll see what's going to happen with that after Streetscape. We do a lot of visitor and vacation planning by email and in advance. We maintain an online event calendar, business database. We manage all of the community signs at the entrance to towns, as well as the bridge banners. We have an amazing staff of summer students every year, get great funding from the province and the federal government. So, this year we're hoping to have 4 who will set up in different areas throughout Huntsville and Lake of Bays. So we'll keep you posted on that as well. And then we have this extraordinary, well-funded and well-loved equipment program, which this year wasn't used very much because we didn't have many events, but we hope that it will come again. But in the meantime, we have things. If you have a vision in your mind to create an event in the shoulder season that has a low impact on the environment, we can help you get that going, no matter what it is, from your business, all the way to something that you think, from a sporting event to a social, cultural, it doesn't matter what. But I can assure you that just to get you sort of kick-started, we've got everything you need. And our team can help you with that. Uh-oh, why isn't my slideshow going? Hello. Oh, there. Okay, sorry, it's very slow. Okay, so membership benefit programs. There's a few on the screen here. There's, I think so many members don't realize how many things we have that can support your business, all the way from discounts with UPS to, benefits for group benefits for your health, dental, vision. We have home and auto discounts if you're a member. There's all sorts of things. SO, we have also PayWorks, and many of them align with our membership with the Canadian Chamber of Commerce. So if you're interested, Barb can help you. There's a lot of opportunities to save money in your business. And I can also share a few testimonials with you from businesses, and we have some of that Barb can share with you, where you can save a great deal of money. So from a COVID-19 business support perspective, we did send, and we at the beginning we sent a daily email, and then we sort of switched that up and went weekly, and then we try to keep our eye, well, we don't try, we absolutely keep our eye on every update that comes from every level of government, and do our very best to bring that information to you in a very succinct way. We have received a number of emails of thanks from members. If there's any email that you're going to want to look at, that's going to be one of them, because it gives a very detailed outline and overview of what's come through from the government. I do want to make sure that businesses are aware that it is required to have a COVID-19 compliance officer assigned in your business. You must have a COVID safety plan. If you don't have one, you are, there are, what's the word? You must have one anyway. Barb has become quite an expert on this. And if you have any questions, or if you want our policy, we would be happy to send it to you. And you could just change your policy to be the same as, ours. It's pretty straightforward, but you do need to have one. So make sure that you've done that as soon as possible, and that you've assigned a compliant officer who would be responsible for maintaining and updating the safety plan at all times. Every year, I like to remind our members about AODA and the fact that you must have accessibility policies. Again, this is law. There are a number of very specific compliances that you must be following. It's very important because it's law, but also because in our community, we want to be AODA compliant. We want to make sure that all of our policies, all of our customer service, and every year there's going to be changes, and you need to keep up on that. So let me know if you have questions about this. If you don't have a policy in place, you're already way behind, and it's against the law not to have one. I want to remind everyone, of course, about the grants that are currently available through the province, up to $20,000 to eligible small businesses. I know there's a great deal of advocacy going on right now for certain businesses that have fallen through the cracks in some of these areas. If you have questions about this grant, please contact me, or I'm sure Scott Oval from the town of Huntsville would be also happy to help you. But our team is very much poised to help you get this sorted. And if for some reason you're not eligible or there's a complication, we'd like to help you figure that out. That is true, obviously, outside of just the $20,000. If there's something you think we could be doing to help your business through this really rocky time, you know, my phone number will be on the last slide, and I encourage you to call me. I've referenced a number of times in my presentation tonight the Accommodation Tax Association, and I'm just going to, on their behalf, bring you a bit of an update on their organization, which is entirely separate from the Chamber of Commerce. However, this year, the MAT board, which is how we call them, issued a RFP looking for administrative services, and we applied for it and received it. So there's an administration fee of $50,000 a year that they pay the chamber, and we provide them administration services through obviously their bookkeeping, their administration of their board, and we help them with their programs, which is a really excellent partnership because we are, you know, the tourism marketing organization for Huntsville and Lake of Bays. And, you know, it's really important that we work closely together on these initiatives, and they're a fabulous group to work with. So I'll talk to you a little bit more about that. They do also give us $50,000 as a partnership towards our marketing initiatives, which has been really excellent to also give us the opportunity to leverage dollars. And you'll see that more in our budget and in our financial discussions. I believe Jesse Hamilton is on the today's Zoom call. I didn't see him log in, but if he isn't, he is the chair of this organization. So Jesse Hamilton represents HLOBARA, which is a mouthful. That's the Huntsville Lake of Bays Accommodation and Restaurant Association. Scott Dowdy is the vice president of the group, also representing HLOBARA. Christine Kropp, who is representing the BIA, is the secretary treasurer of the group. Chirag Patel from King William Inn Roadway from HLOBARA, Matthew Phillips from HLOBARA, and then Karen Terziano, our mayor, her worship, from the town of Huntsville, and Jeff Sotheby from the Chamber of Commerce. So there are 4 positions from the Accommodation Association, 1 chamber position, 1 BIA position, and 1 municipal position. 7 board members total. So I just thought it would be interesting for you to see a glimpse of what they've collected over the past 2 years. So in the first year, they collected $495,000. And to date, they have reported $582,000 that will be collected up to today, basically. And then we've just kind of clumped just at a really high level so you can see how it's been spent to date. Operations and administration would be the first one. The 2 partnerships that are listed there were really excellent, sort of fuel and fun, if you're familiar with those. Excellent partnerships that this group did with the RTO 12 Explorer's Edge. And this resulted in overnight stays that we'll talk about. Polera is a survey that we did, a very specific travel intentions survey. We did together with the MAP board, and they led this. Town of Huntsville contributed, and all of these results are available on their website. So I highly recommend you checking them out. I think you'd find it very interesting to see not only what people's intentions were, but also how they saw Huntsville. And we've got a lot of direction from that. The collaborative marketing initiative that I spoke about earlier, that's with the Town of Huntsville, the BIA, and the Chamber. And then, of course, the lighting initiative, the Eclipse Muskoka Heritage Place event, that's their 300,000 contribution. And then partnerships as well. So that leaves about $432,000 that they're still working at. So the partnerships that they had released in 2019 was an application process, and there was a fairly specific criteria, and the board worked so hard at this and gave away, a great deal of money. Where was it? $112,000. So OFSA was during Snowfest, although they couldn't in the end use the terrain, but that's okay. That was a great event. Huntsville girls hockey bought some boards that can be used for all sorts of things. Retreat to Nature is a wellness website. And then of course the BIA has also been supported. The Winter Wonders programs here, those are the two partnerships with RTO 12 Explorers Edge. And you'll see that 14 accommodators, received visitor stays. You'll notice, I'll jump ahead to $256,000 of total room night spend. So a really excellent initiative. And sweater weather is another one. We're just waiting for more reports on that, but it has had an incredible spin-off effect, not just to the hotels. This group works really, really hard at pushing people into the community and getting them here for events and all sorts of things. Oh, and so the Polaris surveys I spoke about already. The website is there, huntsvillemat.com. Do take a look at that, because I think if you like data like I do, I think you'll quite enjoy it. All right, so moving on then to streetscape. This is more obviously of a downtown thing, but it does, of course, downtown is so important to all of us. I thought I'd just give you a quick update on it. Wondering when it's starting, what's going to happen, what's it going to look like. So I do sit on the BIA board. I work very closely with Morgan, who is a phenomenal young and enthusiastic board, manager of the BIA. Is amazing board with Rachel Hunt as chair, and so many enthusiastic and great board members. They're always looking for volunteers. So just because you're not downtown doesn't mean you can't contribute. So Streetscape is looking like they'll be starting mid-March with setup, staging, all sorts of things. This is obviously going to be a moving target based on snow and, frost and that sort of thing. But you can expect to see the bridge closed mid-March until the end of May. So it will go from the bridge and including the bridge to West Street, which is where the Royal Bank and the local are. And then in phase 2, it will move from June 1st to July 30th. The bridge will be open, and that will go from Brunel to Center. And then phase 3 basically is August 1st to November 30th. That will be west to Lorne at all times, or the intersection at Center in Maine will be open with a flagged individual for school crossings and fire routes, etc. In 2022, in May, there's also a plan for their final asphalt covering. So, I mean, that is a very high level. Morgan is also participating today. If you have specific questions for Morgan, feel free to reach out to her in the chat. But Mayor Terziano and CAO Corey, there's a number of people who could answer your questions if you have any. But we will be working really hard finding ways to make it so that streetscape doesn't impact our community and these poor businesses downtown very much. So I now would like to thank my incredible team. Barb Bloomfield, of course, she organizes me a lot and everything chamber related, the board. She organized this AGM. She's does everything tourism with the students. Torrin Suddaby has been with us a great deal of time. He organizes everything community marketing digitally. Bill Farnsworth has been brought on board this year, covering our map board administration, partnership development. He's a phenomenal and very talented writer, so he works with us as well for content development. And then Danielle Clark, a face that not a lot of people see, but she's our behind the scenes. She does all of our bookkeeping, and she's actually been with the chamber the longest. She was with us a little longer than I was. She's 20 years now. So we want to thank Danielle so much for everything she does behind the scenes. And that is everything I have. And my phone number and email are on this last slide. I encourage you to contact me if you have any questions anytime.
Very good. Thanks, Kelly.
Thanks, Scott.
Your team is awesome. And, you know, you think about what this past year has been and the work you guys have been doing, notably preparing for when the world opens again and we can welcome people back. You know, I think we're going to hit the ground running and be ahead of a lot of communities across the province, across the country. So you guys are amazing. Keep up the great work.
Thanks. That's the goal.
Now, I was to see the results of the election. I haven't seen them yet.
Yes. So I think Torrin, we're waiting for Torrin, who's going to send us the results. Torrin, did you want to, are you going to email them to Barb? Or how do you want to do that? Or Scott?
Yeah, I've messaged them to you now.
Oh. Sorry, by my email?
Text.
Okay. So so Scott, when you're reading the motion for the board, you'll include the entire board that we're motioning in. You have that in your notes, I think, right? So anyway, the three new members of the five that were voted are Scott Acton, Sue Burke, and Catherine Crane. And then, and I really want to thank everyone for putting their name forward. And I know, Scott, you'll speak to that too. And then the slate then would include.
Do you have that full slate in front of you? I would be so embarrassed if I missed someone as I read it out.
Yes, I'll read it out.
Okay.
So it is Scott Acton, Sue Burke, Catherine Crane, Jerry Feltus, Jeff Suddaby, Doug Campbell, Colleen Mitchell, Wendy Turner, and David Perlock, and Jonathan Weeb and Michael Peppard.
Very good. Okay, I need a motion that the slate of directors be elected as presented. Did I get a motioner? Wendy Turner, seconder. I'm looking. Laura Carter. Any discussion? All in favor? Thank you very much. Looking forward to working with you. Great people. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, so let's move on to the numbers portion. So I'd like to welcome Dexter Pereira from BDO to provide a review of our year-end financials. Dexter.
Perfect. Thank you. I will just go over the draft financial statements. Hopefully everybody can hear me. And if there's any questions, I can answer that at the end. I think
Dexter, do you want me to share my screen, or do you want to just go over what you've got in front of you?
You can share your screen if you want to go through the statements if you want.
Okay, I'll try to keep up with you.
We'll just start on page 2.
Yeah, go ahead.
And I'll just go through the basically the independent auditor's report, very similar to last year. It just says we've audited the financial statements of Huntsville Lake Bay's Chamber of Commerce. which comprise the statement of financial position as at September 30th, 2020, the statement of operations and surplus and cash flows for the year then ended, and including summary of significant accounting policies. And the next paragraph is just our opinion paragraph saying, similar to last year, that the financial position of the organization as at September 30th, 2020 is in accordance with Canadian accounting standards for not-for-profit organizations. There is a qualification similar to every year, just on verification of completeness of fundraising revenue. The next paragraphs just start talking about management and their role in the financial statements and those charged with governance, being the board. And then the next page just talks about the auditor's responsibilities with respect to auditing the financial statements. I won't go over those in detail, as it's very similar to last year. The statements are actually in draft form with no audit report date, so hopefully that will be approved either here, and we would issue the statements. So just moving to the next page is the statement of financial position. There's cash at the end of the year, $208,428, which is up about $92,000 from last year. Accounts receivable and some prepaid, so total current assets are $296,053, which is up $148,000 from last year. Capital assets is $24,509, and there was no additions in the year. This is detailed on note 2, which we'll get to, but it's basically the reduction is amortization in the year of $6,700. Total current liabilities is $114,124, and that's mostly made up of deferred revenue, which we go over as detailed on note 4. Deferred contributions related to capital assets is detailed on note 5. That's reduced by $6,000 in the year to $22,449. Long-term debt, $30,000, is detailed on note 6, and that is basically the repayable portion of the CEBA loan from the government. Next page is the statement of operations and surplus. So there's a total revenue in the year of $490,010, which is up $66,000 from last year, which is great. And made up of various expenses. There's some one-time amounts in there representing the FedNor Regional Relief and Recovery Fund, Canadian Emergency Wage Subsidy, and the Canadian Emergency Business Account for the forgivable portion. So that's about $130,000 of that 490. Total expenses, $375,342, and that's down about $59,000 from last year. So there's a total excess of revenue over expenses in the year of $114,668, which is great. That's about $124,000 swing from last year. And added to the beginning surplus of the year, we get a surplus at the end of the year of just shy of $154,000. The next page, Kelly, if you could just move, just tracks the statement of cash flows. So from a high level, there's cash inflows from operations in the year of $62,208, and then additional financing funds from the CEBA loan of $30,000. So there's an increase of $92,208 added to last year's balance, gives the balance of cash of $208,428. Pages 7 and 8 just discuss the Chamber's accounting policies, which have not changed in the year, so I won't go over those. Page 9 just details capital assets, no changes besides amortization in the year. Sorry, just the next page there. Yeah, and then note 3 talks about bank indebtedness, which isn't being used right now. Note 4 is the detail on the statement of financial position of the deferred revenue balances at the end of the year. Note 5 is just the continuity of the deferred contributions related to capital assets and the amount that was being amortized in revenue in the year of $5,613. Note 6 just details a little bit about the parameters of the Canadian Emergency Bank Account loan and the repayments and so forth. Note 7, it details the revenue and expenses of event tourism and external marketing. So we can see there's a surplus during the year of 10,216. I won't go into detail on that. Note 8 is details of organizational events and programs during the year. And there's an excess of revenue over expenses in the year there of 29,539. And I won't go over the details of note 10, just talks about some financial instrument risks. And note 11 is just an impact of COVID note on the chamber, and Kelly would have gone into a lot more details on all that and the rest of this meeting. So that's just a note that's in the financial statements for the audit.
Great.
And again, I'd also like to thank Danielle and Kelly and her team they make the audit go very smoothly. And obviously this year we did it 100% remotely. So that was good.
That's awesome.
Very good. Thank you, Dexter.
Thank you.
At this point, I'd like to introduce Jerry Feltus. He's our treasurer, and he'll review the financial summary and budget presentation. Jerry?
Thanks, Scott. Well, I say it every year, but we got to start doing the financials at the beginning. Otherwise, we always end up putting everybody to sleep at the end. I'm sure Dexter agrees with that. Plus, it gets us to drinking wine that much quicker. So, Kelly, great presentation. Thank you. You did a lot of my job for me, just kind of going through all of the details on what the year looked like. Dexter, thank you very much for going through the financial statements in such great detail. I don't know if there's too many questions on that. Ultimately, the State of the Union, COVID-19 made us rethink absolutely everything we did. Thank you to our government for stepping in with some of the emergency funding and the relief fund, which basically held us in there. Definitely important to say thank you where thank you is due. And without that, it would have been a much different financial impact. Obviously, $130,000 coming essentially from those funds, if you will. So with the wage subsidies and the regional relief fund. So definitely, something that we can be thankful for, that'll give us a little bit of a runway in order to get back into business when we're able to do business, which, hopefully is that next phase as vaccinations continue to get rolled out into the country. And hopefully we're all opening our businesses and flourishing in 2021 and beyond. And hopefully we have enough runway to be able to really kind of put that on steroids when we do open up our doors. Hopefully Kelly and the team at the office are ready to go and bring tourism to our doors so that we can enjoy some of those benefits of what we've been building up over the course of the last kind of 12 or 18 months, trying to figure out how to best move forward. It's not the easiest. Obviously, if there are any questions on the financials, please feel free to use the chat. But at this point, I'd like to make a motion to approve the draft financials as presented. Can I have a motion, please? Jeff Sotheby, thank you. And a seconder, please. Colleen, thank you. And without any really discussion, as everybody's on mute, all in favor? And so moved. And I would also like to make a motion that BDO Canada LLP Chartered Accountants be appointed as the accountants for the Huntsville Lake of Bays Chamber of Commerce for its financial year commencing October 1st, 2020 until September 30th, 2021. Can I have a motion for that, please? Thank you, Laura Carter. Second, Jim Pattinson. Thank you. Pattinson, sorry. And all in favor? Motion carried. Thank you very much. Again, if there are any questions on the financials, please feel free to reach out via chat and or I'm happy to answer questions if somebody should have any over the course of the week going forward. So on to bigger and better discussions and the budget for 2021. I don't know if anybody has a dartboard that's better than mine, but I'll throw a dart to the best of my ability and see if we can't get something half accurate in there. Everyone has a copy of the budget. Kelly, did you want to pull it up on screen for me?
Well, indeed.
Just give a minute for that to come up.
Is it as small on your screen as it is on mine?
Yeah, do you want to just increase your zoom on there?
No, do I do that?
Little plus sign right in the center, at the top center.
I have a banner in the way that I can't. Oh, there. Wait. I'm getting there.
No, I think the other side, kind of right in the middle.
Ah, thank you.
You're welcome. There you go.
Hey.
All right, I'll put my glasses on. Yes, I'm getting that old that I need to wear glasses now. Nobody laugh at me. I see Scott's one of the four. Scott Aitchison's one of the four people on my screen in front of me, and I see you're wearing yours too, so I don't feel so bad. Thanks, I appreciate that. You know, revenue next year. Obviously, we're looking at reducing revenue on the total line. There is, you know, from a top line on memberships, we did see a decrease this year. That's not a surprise under the COVID scenario that we went through. We are expecting to rebound a little bit as we get through 2021, and hopefully we'll even overachieve on that, and we'll be able to get some of our members back that we may have lost on a temporary basis. But for right now, we're being cautiously optimistic at growing a little bit on the membership fee. The fee for service is really about you know, between the town and bringing on a couple of extra students for the summer this year as well, which comes in to help pay, which is noted on the wages and benefits line that I'll get to below as well. The biggest real drop is in the miscellaneous income. The $133,000 in 2019-2020 is directly related to the wage subsidies as well as the regional relief fund. So obviously enhancing that fund. The $30,600 is really related to the October and November wage subsidy that we've already received at this point. So we're not anticipating on getting wage subsidy next year, although, you know, who knows what the future may hold depending on how long the virus hangs with us. But at this point, we're not anticipating. And then the additional revenue in the community marketing initiative revenue line, which is really an in and out. If we brought in $250,000, we would spend $250,000. If we bring in $120,000, we spend $120,000. So it's basically an in and out account regardless. So $428,000 in revenue versus $490 in 2019-2020. Can you just scroll down a bit there, Cal? Into the expenses, wages and benefits going up slightly. This is directly reflected by the two additional students that we're anticipating on bringing in on grants this year in order to help, you know, man all of our tourism booths and help all of our tourists in the area kind of find what they're looking for. Not really too many other changes on this line. The Hamada expenses at the very bottom, 48 versus 28 of last year. That's really, it's an in and out as well. It's basically the administration cost of staffing and admin costs of managing the we'll call it the MAT tax, if you will, from all of the municipal accommodation in the area, collecting that tax in order for us to spend. Kelly and I were talking earlier, and it's you know, certainly something of note that you know, we expect the MAT tax to, I believe the forecast is to be somewhere in the middle, in the realm of $750,000 on kind of a revolving basis on a year over year. you know, none of those numbers necessarily enter into this budget per se, but that 750,000 in revenue and 750,000 in expenses kind of going out the back door are administrated by this budget as well, even though it's not reflected in the budget. So although it looks like we have a, you know, a $430,000 budget, it's really much larger than that, that Kelly is managing and going through. Again, community marketing expenses out the door, same as what's coming in. It's an in and out account. And at the end of the year, we're expecting this year to be $5,674 to the positive that we would transfer over to reserve for a rainy day. And if there are any questions, again, Kelly, you can stop sharing your screen there. And if there are any questions, feel free to, again, either in the chat box and or if there's an opportunity that you want to email Kelly or myself directly, I'm happy to answer any questions that anyone might have on either the budget or the financial statements from 2019-2020. And Kelly, I'm pretty sure I do not need a motion as the board had already approved that budget, correct?
Yeah. Thank you very much, Jerry.
Awesome.
Very good.
My pleasure.
Thanks, Jerry.
Have a great day, everyone.
I see MP Aitchison has returned. Tell us about your presentation. How did it go?
Well, it was well received. It's a bill, unfortunately, that the Liberal government doesn't intend to support, but we'll see. It's a minority parliament. Maybe we can get it through. I mean, it looks like the NDP is going to support it. It looks like the Bloc's going to support it. It's literally it would ban sending plastic to places like Cambodia, where I've been, and it's horrible to see them burning plastic on the side of the road and children playing in it. Anyhow, I digress.
Well, welcome back. Thanks for jumping back in with us. Does anybody have a question for our MP while he's here?
And while we're waiting for that, if people are entering them into the chat, I'll just mention that our new board, welcoming Catherine Crane from the Huntsville Hospital Foundation as our newest board member, which is very exciting. Great opportunity to collaborate with another phenomenal organization. Catherine brings a lot of excellent experience to our board from a governance perspective. She's got great enthusiasm and wants to work really closely with the business community. And I'll leave it to you, Scott, to say farewell to Colleen, but I want to just let you know that we'll be having a board meeting next week where we'll be electing our officers, our president, our treasurer, our vice. We do this every year. You might see return positions, but it doesn't mean that they're a given. Every year the board elects the officers. So we'll be doing that next week, and then we'll send a constant contact to the entire membership with an announcement of who these fine people are that will be leading your organization.
Thanks, Kelly. And Kelly, you do bring up a good point. Colleen Mitchell, thanks again for your service over the last few years. Not only was Colleen an important part of our board, she provided meeting space for us on a regular basis.
Thank you.
And it's not as bad as it sounds. It was, very much appreciated, Colleen. And again, thank you for your service. It's volunteers like you in this community that really make this a great community. So I can't thank you enough. I'm not seeing any messages or questions coming through for Scott. Did you have any final remarks to the business community, Scott, before we wrap?
So I'll let you know. I've been frantically typing here because I've been chatting with one individual, and anyhow, it's exciting because one of the projects that I'm working on in my spare time, and it's a project that I kind of began really while I was still mayor. As many of you who know me well know that I have a real passion for history, and particularly the history of Huntsville. And I did a couple of projects, and some people helped me to get like all the biographies of all the former mayors, written and published, and it's now online on a timeline on the town webpage. And at any rate, I've always believed that the next volume of Huntsville's history should be chronicled. Huntsville with Spirit and Resolve, which is just one of my favorite books. It ends in the mid 50s, but so much of Huntsville's history is, missing. And so I've always wanted to see that book published. So I've been working away at that. I'm putting together a real team of passionate researchers to help with it. And I've been chatting with Emily Stroud a little bit about this. She was asking me a specific question, and then I found out what her company was, and I said, "Oh, we need to talk because I can write, but I'm no editor, and I've never published a book." At any rate, so that's another little project that I'm working on in my spare time. Yeah, I'm hopeful that we could make a bit of money for the Huntsville Historical Society while we're at it. So. I really, I just rambled there. I apologize to all of you. I don't know if there are any other questions, so I would be happy to answer them. And Jerry, I feel your pain. We're all getting old, brother. The reading glasses, I'm getting fatter. Oh boy.
Thank you very much, Scott.
Thanks for being here. Okay, this brings us to the end of our program. I want to thank you all again for taking part, and I know we're all zoomed out as we hit a year of this, but I think you look at Kelly's presentation and some of the work that's going into welcoming people back to this community, supporting business, getting things going again. We can only hope we can get the vaccines going quicker and get things moving. So I congratulate you all on being a tremendous business community. Look forward to working with you in the future as we go forward here. So with that, I do need a motion to adjourn the 2021 annual general meeting. Can I get a motioner? Dexter.
Thank you, everyone, for coming so much. It really was a great. Thank you.
Thanks, folks.
Thanks,
Take care.
Scott. Bye,
Bye-bye.
everyone.